Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel and a big thank you as always for tuning into today's video. So today I'm going to be touching up on basically something that I keep seeing popping up on social media, and it's younger drivers or new drivers who are struggling to get the bums in the seat of an Arctic or a Class 2 when they've just passed the test, they've invested in themselves, the country's screaming out for drivers, so why are people getting turned away? I keep seeing on social media the same sort of stories. I went for a job interview, it went really well. Then when they asked me for my licence, they realised I'd only had it for X amount of time. And then they said, I'm either too young or not got enough experience. Those are the two main reasons you guys are probably struggling to find work. So I just wanted to touch up on the subject to give you guys a bit of advice on how you can increase your chances in actually getting employed, funnel your way straight into a job rather than being tossed about here, there and everywhere by different employers because they don't really put the best job advertisement up. And it could also be that you guys, in all fairness, aren't reading the job description properly. I know a couple of lads I spoke to recently have said, yeah, I didn't even clock that it said on the, that it said that you had to have so many years experience. I just looked at the wages and looked at whereabouts the job was located. Now, that's all well and good doing that, guys. I understand the logic behind that. You're excited, you want to get your job, you want to jump on the jobs. You see a job that's advertised, looks really good, it looks right up your street, you want to jump on it straight away, and that's totally understandable. But at the same time, you're sort of shooting yourself in the foot if you're not doing what I'm about to tell you to do, which is to ring up first and ask to speak to the transport manager or ask to speak to somebody who deals with recruitment. Because if you guys are just ringing up and saying I'm interested in the job, at that point they don't know anything about you. They don't know what level you're on at driving, they don't know how old you are. Some employers will ask you on the phone, they're a bit forward planning, they're a bit ahead, and they think to ask these questions, whereas sometimes you might just get through to the secretary and all they're going to do is say, I've got someone on the phone here about the driving job we've got advertised. So by that time you've gone there, had your interview, they've then realised, oh, hang on a minute, this girl's only 23, 22, can't take them on, got to be 25 for our insurance. I will be touching up on the insurance as well after this, just explaining to you guys why insurance is a problem these days for employers. But yeah, if you guys forward plan, you ring up first, ask to speak to the person that's actually going to employ you, and then you can tell them a little bit about yourself. You can sort of butter them up. I've been looking at your company, good reviews, you seem like the sort of company I'd like to start my truck driving career off with. And at that point they might say, why, have you never drove a truck before? And you say, well, yeah, I've obviously passed my test, and I'm really eager and I'm enthusiastic. Then they might ask you how old you are, and then the ball's in your part then, because you're telling them the information. And yeah, you might not get the answer you want. You might get, oh, I do apologise, mate, I'm going to stop you there, but we don't actually take people on at this age, we don't actually do this, we don't do that. At least then you know that you're not really going to have a chance of getting a job there until you're at a certain age, or until you've completed so many months driving. Some places have shortened it down to 6 months. We need at least 6 months experience. And at the end of the day, it does suck. It is frustrating. It's frustrating for me as a truck driver to hear that you guys are having to go through this, when all we've heard for the past few months is we need truck drivers. They're trying to rush people through the test. They've made the test easier. They've even allowed people now to jump straight onto Class 1 rather than having to take the Class 2. So the time for doing your HGV is now, really, because they've made it easy. The price hasn't really changed much, but it is a lot easier to access a HGV licence these days. So if you forward plan, ring up, tell them a bit about yourself and speak to the people you need to, you're literally funneling your way into getting a job without having to deal with turning up for interviews, wasting your fuel, wasting your time, and then really, knocking your self-confidence, your self-esteem, because you're getting turned away. They can't turn you away from the premises over the phone, and at least over the phone on a phone call, you've got a much better chance of finding out where you stand with them without having to actually go there first. So if it all goes well and they say, yeah, we're quite happy to take younger drivers on, yes, we're quite happy to train you, which is another thing I'm going to touch up on in a moment, you know, then you're in with a good chance, aren't you? So that is my advice to you guys. Just forward plan a little bit, use your noggins a little bit, just you know, ask the right questions. You know, I'm 24, is that going to be a problem if they don't mention that? You know, you just say, I have applied for a couple of other jobs, but unfortunately because of my age, they won't take me on. However, I'm really eager. I've been around trucks for ages, since I can remember. Whatever your background is, whatever your circumstances are, you explain it to them. You know, always be transparent and honest, and that will get you the best chance of getting employed. So moving on to what I was saying about the insurance, at the end of the day, we do have a lot of incidents on the public highways. We might not always see them or read about them, but they happen every day. Every day, somewhere in the UK, someone has a bump, someone doesn't check the tyres when they come out of a quarry, and then a stone goes through someone's windscreen or knocks someone's motorbike helmet off. You just don't know. But it does happen, and it happens regularly. And as we know, there's hundreds, if not thousands, of HGV companies in this country, and you're not telling me that all of them have squeaky clean years where nobody has a problem, nobody has an accident. And that's why the insurance companies nowadays are being a bit more, well, they're being tight really, aren't they? You should have a net over that, mate. Load of loose scrap hanging off, and it's windy. Not a good idea. But anyway, guys, leave him to do him. But again, he might not have had the right training. You know, his net might not be working or whatever. You just never know. But he should have had a net over that. But basically, guys, what it is if you've got a company and you're running tippers all day, and then every few months you've got a member of the public ringing up, excuse me, just had a stone go through my windscreen or dent my car or go through my grill. It does happen, and it does happen a lot with the younger drivers. I'm not saying the older drivers, you know, have a squeaky clean career, because we've all had accidents. I've had accidents myself, and a lot of it is down to not being trained properly in the job. And at the end of the day, that's not your fault if you've not been trained. You're just doing the best you can do. And these insurance companies now, if you've had 5 or 6 claims in a year, your premiums are going to go up. Now what they're doing is actually putting sort of caps on your age now. So they'll say, you know, we can give you a good quote, but there's terms and conditions that you can't take drivers on that are under the age of 25. Some places you can't take drivers on that are under the age of 30. Like my place now where I'm working, I got told the other week that they've renewed the insurance. I had to give them a license to obviously renew my insurance, and basically got told that they're not allowed to take anyone under the age of 30 now to drive the wagons, which is, it's a bit crap, isn't it, really, when you look at it? It's not the best. We know owning our own private vehicles, car insurance, motorbike insurance, it gets real expensive real quick. So when you've got a fleet of 3, 5, maybe even 20, 50, 100 wagons, your insurance premiums are going to be through the roof. So you do have to sort of look at the employers and think, well, maybe they're not doing it to be tight. You know, they've got overheads to pay. They're running a business at the end of the day. And yeah, on the other side of having younger drivers, a lot of the older drivers, we all know a yard where there's been a guy who's been there since they opened, or a woman who's been there for yonks, and those are the drivers that won't really do an extra job. You know, they don't want to wash their own wagon, they just do what they do and they go home. They go home at the same time every day, they make sure they're back at the yard, and that's just how they operate. Whereas when you've got newer drivers, people who are a little bit fresher, people who are more enthusiastic and motivated about the job because it's all new and exciting to them, these guys are getting turned away. So a lot of people, unfortunately, have ruined it for you guys by not doing the checks in the morning, you know, being a bit reckless with whatever they're doing with the truck, which then paints a picture that younger drivers aren't as, you know, they're not as clued up as the older drivers, which is quite obvious. You know, you get experience through actually doing the task. Now, moving on to the training, excuse me, sorry guys, I've just had a massive full English breakfast, and then I went being a bit fat and greedy. Look at the size of that. Like, literally, you could knock someone over with that. That's a big spicy chicken salad barn for me lunch. So yeah, I'm going to be eating well. Might even do some bulking up videos, truckers on bulk. I won't really do that, I'm only joking. But yeah, it's literally, a lot of drivers these days, they get thrown in a wagon when you do get employed, and this is one thing you've got to watch out for. Don't let them just throw you in a truck and say, see you later, crack on with it, best of luck. you make sure you get training. You need training. It's not, oh, it'll be all right. You know, you need training. A lot of the things that have happened with my mates, with myself, when I've had a bit of a bump, or I've never like hit a member of the public, touch wood or anything like that, but I have had incidents where if I'd have had a bit of better training, the incident would not have happened, you know. And at the end of the day, nobody can have a go at you if you've not been trained to do the job properly. You know, you won't let someone pass a, you know, to be a doctor and then not give them the correct training for the procedures to give people the correct medicines, because you'd end up with people twisted off the nuts on all the wrong stuff, wouldn't you? So I mean, at the end of the day, it's the same with truck driving. You're asking people, especially young people, to drive these big, you know, massive vehicles and not giving them any training, and it's wrong. So always make sure when you do get a job, if you're not feeling too confident or too competent, you make sure that you ask them for a bit of training. Can you send a driver out with me for a week or 2 weeks just to make sure I'm doing it? Now, a lot of companies do that, and they will send you out with quite an experienced driver to see how you get on. You might have to do that as part of your interview process. But at the end of the day, guys, if you've got somebody there at the end of the week to sign you off and say, do you know what, he's all right, then you're going to feel more confident, and so is your employer, because they've got somebody with experience who's saying, yeah, this lad's pretty good, or you know, this woman's pretty good. They're absolutely fine to go out on their own, you know, and I'll put my name to them. I'm quite happy to send them out on their own now. So don't let it put you off, guys. You will get a job. Just use that bit of advice. Just do a bit of forward planning. That is a really important part about being a HGV driver, is having good forward planning. Now, you need to have that in all aspects of your job, but I won't ramble on too much anymore anyway, guys. Make sure you get your training, make sure you ask for the right questions when you're looking to get a job. Like I say, you want to be speaking to a transport manager or somebody who deals with recruitment, and they can tell you over the phone all the things they're looking for with a driver. If you don't suit them, no harm done. You've just, you know, all it's cost you is a few minutes of a phone call, rather than driving up there all excited or a bit anxious, am I going to get it or not, to have a really good interview process and then to be told, sorry mate, we can't take you on because of this or this. We don't want that happening to you guys. It's very frustrating. But yeah, I hope this helps. And if you've got any more questions for me with regards to anything to do with HGVs or the video that you've just watched, you know, just let me know in the comments. If you've not already done so, please like the video or dislike it if you didn't like it. Leave me a comment and make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys on the next one. Have a lovely day, and I'll see you next time. See you later, guys.